I hope this short tutorial will help explain how to add a text layer to a photograph, essentially pretty much any photograph for that matter. The one that we're working on today is just a quick photo that I shot some time ago of these guitars. To get right to it, the key to understanding working with text is to begin to understand, if you don't already have an understanding of Photoshop's layers, where things are stacked one on top of the other. In this case, at the start, you can see in the lower right corner here that I'm just working on the flat background layer. There's no need to really do anything in the case of working with simply to just simply add text. There's no need to pre-add any layers. Photoshop will, you will see in just a few moments, Photoshop will add a layer for each text element that you create. So let's just dive right in, and I'm going to go directly to my text tool and highlight it. And I will just point out that there are several different ways you can orient the text in Photoshop. For this demonstration, I'm just going to use the typical horizontal type tool, but you can have the text be positioned vertically, and then there's ways to use the type as a mask option. But again, we're just going to work with the horizontal type tool. And then, depending on your version of Photoshop, for mine, and I'm actually recording this tutorial on a old version of Photoshop. It's at least probably a year behind whatever the most current version is, but they haven't changed this part of the interface much in the newer version of Photoshop. But in mine, the text options appear at the top. Before I do anything, I usually like to set the number pretty high, especially given what we're doing. We want to fill this upper left-hand area with text. So I just preset this to, I'm going to just reset it to 180 point, just so we start with a reasonably large set of text. And so I'm just going to click on the image, and I'm just going to type my name. And I've set the color to white, and just by typing, you can type whatever you want. Everything shows up on the screen immediately. And as I mentioned just a few moments ago about layers, you can see now in this lower right-hand corner, Photoshop has created a separate layer for this text that I just typed. To kind of cement this as, yes, this is what I want, you would click the, the kind of combine move tool, and it's also used to kind of apply an effect if you're working in one of the other tools. That's a great way to kind of cement just by clicking this. And I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to point out a couple other things. That is that you can just simply highlight the text if there was a, something, if I had typed, bean instead of bear. There's the usual options for correcting the text before you apply it to, permanently fix it to that layer. I can also select all, and however you choose to do that, if that's clicking and dragging to highlight or using the keyboard shortcut of Command A to select all of the text, I can go in here and you can see the limits of the text options only go up to 72 in terms of selectable. But if you just click inside this box and use your arrow keys on your keyboard, if you have them, I can push the up arrow and I can just keep pressing it, and you can see it's increasing the type size as I press it. That's one way to increase the size of the text. Before I explain another way, I usually have this menu option set to sharp. You can experiment depending on your needs. If any of these other options produce effects that are desirable, that's totally up to you. But I find 99.9% of the time I'm just using the sharp text. So as far as resizing, another way of resizing what you've created is, as I mentioned before, clicking this move tool. Now this layer, I can click and drag. It's this this type is now on its own layer. I can move it wherever I want. Another nifty command, and I know it as a keyboard command, is Command T for transform. If I do that, you can see it has selected just this layer for being transformed. And if I hold the Shift key and grab one of these handles, I can click and I can keep the aspect ratio the same, and I can also grow and shrink the size. I am continuously holding the Shift key so it doesn't distort. If I let go of the Shift key, you can see everything. I can totally distort the text, which I generally don't like to do. And again, if I hit the Shift key, it immediately resets that, and I'm continuing to hold the Shift key and dragging so that I can resize this text to even larger, so I fill up more of that corner space. And again, either hitting the return key or clicking once again the move tool will cement this move and changes that I've just made, and then just click apply, and there it is. So now I at least have my name, and I believe for this tutorial we want to add the word photography. So again, I'm just going to click and create a brand new layer and just type photography. And I'm just going to go ahead and cement that or fix that. And I don't like the size of this. I'd like this to be maybe tucked in next to the lowercase g in my first name. So again, I'm going to click Command T to activate the transform tool. I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm just going to drag and shrink this down, and then park this right in there, and then hit apply, and there it is. Now you can see, let's take a look in the lower right hand corner. There are now 3 layers. There's the background, which holds the color photo that we started with. The layer just above that is my name, and the layer above that is photography. I can choose each layer individually, and with the move tool in the palette activated, I can continue to move photography around. I can switch over to my name, or the layer that has my name, and I can move that around. If I want to move both at the same time, let's say I want to move both of these and move them lower into closer to the center of the photo. Holding my Shift key again, I can click on the additional layer, the photography layer, and now you can see both of them are highlighted. And now with that move tool selected, I can move both of these around at the same time. I believe it is also true that I can click Command T to transform, as I showed just a few moments ago. And now, holding the Shift key, I can transform both of them at the same time, since both of them are selected. Very powerful option for editing, moving, and manipulating text, and really helpful in the case of this particular need. So that's it. Hopefully this addresses exactly what you were looking to do. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Hope again that this is helpful and you're able to make some headway adding your name and any other text that you want to that special image that you want to share with folks. That's it. Take care.